I'm Coach, along with Lone Wolf. And I'll say, Lone Wolf, so far, one show, not too shabby for the
Yeah.
first show here on Riverside. So
Yep.
we got some new things going. Do want everybody to kind of take a look. And we do have Facebook and YouTube, Smack Talk. Um, our old logo is still on YouTube. It's not there, but um,
Facebook's
you
been
know,
updated.
yeah,
Yeah.
Facebook is getting updated. Um, on the bottom of the screen that everybody sees, you should see a subscribe and follow link. That'll take you to our YouTube profile. So please subscribe, follow. And that will help just really allow us to do some more things because in order to do certain things I'm finding on Riverside, we have to have so many followers on our social media.
Right. Right.
So
So we got to
we have
build that up.
we have to
Yeah.
build that up. So please do that so we can continue to do this stuff. And
Yeah.
who knows, maybe we can eventually do it where you know we have fancier stuff than what we currently have.
That'd be great, Coach. That'd be
So
great.
all right. So next, we are getting into playoff time, um, finals are here. We have NBA finals, NHL finals. So we'll start with the NBA because Lone Wolf, this is your probably besides I think March Madness. This is probably one of your favorite times of the year, right?
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we have the Knicks versus the Spurs.
yeah.
Um, and I guess let's just quick talk about SGA. Um, he won the MVP again, but he called the year a failure.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, Lone Wolf?
I mean, I feel like he's saying that because he feels like he needs to for some reason, right? Like, oh, unless you win a title, that's a failure of a year. But, he's a young player and I don't think he understands. Like, he already has an MVP 2 years in a row. He's a finals MVP and a championship. And how many guys in their career have not had that? I think of like a Charles Barkley, right? Who never won an NBA final, who never had that championship. I think he's just looking at it and not understanding what he's been gifted with so far and that he's fortunate in getting that, right? I mean, that's how I feel about it, coach. So he says that he's kind of like, well, look, you're not really understanding where you're at. Now, I mean, SGA, I give him the credit for saying something like, okay, I want to be the best, and that's kind of how I'm taking that. But I think he's not understanding how much of his early career has been fortunate so far. So
Right.
that's my take.
And I get it. You can be disappointed that you
Yeah,
didn't make the NBA finals after being champions last year. But to call the year a failure, um,
yeah,
I don't know. I think he's overreacting a little bit.
yeah,
Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is awesome." He's all about the team and things like that. You know what? He had a good year. He was the league MVP again. Winning titles is hard. You're not going to win a title every year, and just
right.
because you don't win a title doesn't mean you had a bad year.
No,
You can be disappointed, but calling it a failure, I have a hard time with that. More maybe a disappointment than anything, in my opinion, when it comes down to that. Um, you know, I think it's an overreaction on his part.
yeah,
Uh, to say it was a failure. Um, So, but
Well, and I
anyways,
think, Coach, I mean, we talked about this, and you know, it was a heavily contested Western Conference series. We knew it was going to be. But how many times have you and I said this, and you know this from personal experience? That's why you're the coach. How hard is it to win a back-to-back title? I
oh,
mean,
it's so hard. You need you I mean, winning back to back titles is it's not impossible, but it is super hard. You know, I've had a chance to win back to back titles, came up short in the championship in the second go round by a
right.
few points because lead late in the game, and then all of a sudden you have a good play by the other team, and you miss a block and you fumble a ball, and you
Yeah.
know um it is so hard. I've been doing this stuff for 30 years. Even just repeating as like conference champions and like football and like things like
It's
that,
tough.
that's
Yeah.
really hard to do. Because there's a lot of things that go into it. So winning championships, it doesn't happen very often.
No.
It just doesn't, and you can't be disappointed in that just because you weren't able to do that. So,
Yeah.
um, hopefully, it was just out of frustration and disappointment that
It's
he said
raw.
that,
It's right there.
and
Yeah.
not that you know he really thinks it was um
Right. Like an utter
a,
failure. Yeah.
a utter
Yeah.
failure, right?
And I don't think so. And I mean, we talked about this being the Spurs' time too, you know, that they were going to be able to surge. They have a lot of good young talent too. Wembanyama played well. Defensively, they really shut down SGA in this series. That
Yeah.
was their goal, and they did that. They executed it. So I was not surprised by the outcome. I think both of us were like, yeah, this is the time for the Spurs to do this. I think you're going to see, and then switching gears to the finals itself, Coach, you're going to see a lot of rabid Knicks fans going crazy and over betting on the Knicks to win this series. And I laugh because there's absolutely no chance in my mind that the Knicks win this series. None. Like
Right. And
they'll
so
win a game. It's 4-1. That's what I'll give them.
so that actually brings me up to the the next um the next um
Next story
story
here. Yeah.
is that the line, the books are heavily the betters are heavily investing in the Knicks to win the finals.
Yeah.
I don't get it. The East was so weak.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and say, "Oh, yeah, the Knicks are that good." You gotta look at the conference. The conference itself was weak. You had teams get knocked out in the West in the second round that probably could have easily made the finals in the
And
East.
maybe won the finals even.
The Timberwolves, if they were in the East, they're probably in the NBA finals.
Yeah, I think so too, coach.
The Lakers are probably in at least the conference final series in
Yeah.
the East.
Yeah.
The East was weak,
Right.
and it has been for a long time.
Right.
And that was the big talk when LeBron was just debating the second time around. When if is he going to leave the Cavs? Is he going to stay in the East? Go to the West? If he stays in the East, he has an easier shot at least to make it to the NBA Finals.
Right.
But it's harder to win the title because you have all these good teams in the West. But if you come out of the
Yeah.
West, you probably have a good shot of winning the title.
Yeah, you're pretty battle tested. Yeah.
So I just think that it may be a 5-6 game series. It's not going to go 7. Uh,
Mhm.
I think the overreaction of for Knicks fans They need to temper it a little bit.
A lot,
Be
yeah.
happy. Be happy. Your team made the NBA finals, you know. Um,
Well,
not
and
not an issue, but
right.
um I don't think that they're even close to being a championship contender.
No. No, and people are looking at what you would look at in these situations and saying, "Okay, they haven't played since this time, and they swept their series, and they're rested, and blah 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 blah." Yeah, that's all true, but it goes back to what you were just talking about, Coach, where the East is weak, and so they beat the Cavs for nothing. I don't think that really tells us everything that we need to know. Like in this situation, we're saying, okay, yeah, the Knicks are really good. No, the East just isn't that good. That's the
Right.
bottom line. That's really what it is. And so they go against the two best teams in the NBA, in the Thunder and the Spurs. We're battling it out, and the Spurs come out on top. Now, could the Spurs have a lull? I think they might have a lull in one of these games, which is why you'll see the Knicks win. And they're young and they haven't had a lot of playoff experience. But I'll tell you this. To me, the Spurs grew up in game 7 like that was their moment, right? They got past all that battle-tested stuff, fighting through the West and beating last year's champion to now make the NBA finals. So I don't think that they're going to be intimidated by the moment or anything like that. It's not like the Knicks have been in the finals and since forever.
Right.
So yeah, they'll have a lull. They'll drop a game. It'll be bad, and people, oh, look at this, blah, but it won't matter. The Spurs are going to win this series, and it's not going to be that close. Period.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I just I like how the Spurs are playing.
Yeah,
They can play defense, and they can shut a team down if they need to, or they can get into a shootout. And I don't think the Knicks can shut down consistently the Spurs offense.
right. I mean, you look at some of the scores and some of the games, Coach. They held the Thunder to 82 points, 91 points. This is the Thunder we're talking about.
Right.
So 82
Yep.
points from the Thunder. Yeah, the Knicks are not the Thunder. They don't have the same offense. So
Right. I absolutely agree to that. So, um, let's see here. So we'll see. I believe game 1. Oh, let's take a look with the schedule here.
it's Wednesday.
Wednesday
Yeah.
in San Antonio. So the first 2 games in San Antonio, the next 2 are in New York. And then it goes 1-1-1. So and right now, San Antonio a 4.5 point favorite over the Knicks in game 1. Um, we'll see what happens with this. Again, though, this is what I don't get, right?
Hmm.
Especially with like the NBA and Major League Baseball. Look how long it has taken us to get to this point in the playoffs,
Yeah.
right? The just the time, like the time. And now when you look at the NBA finals, the first 3 games, Wednesday, Friday, Monday. It's like, okay, we're in the finals now. Let's get it done in a week.
Yeah.
But
Right.
the rest of it, yeah, we can take our time.
We'll just take our sweet old time with that.
Wouldn't you want your championship series to go longer?
You know, it's probably about like TV deals and when things are going to be aired and all that kind of garbage. I'm guessing, right?
I mean, I get that stuff,
Yeah.
but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, are you kidding me? It
Yeah.
just
Like
doesn't
here we
make
are
any
in June again, and yeah.
right, right. So yeah, obviously, with this too, we still have more talk with Giannis.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're getting Giannis fatigue. I really do.
I think at this point we probably really already hit that, didn't
Because
we?
I'm tired. I'm tired of reading articles, and then every other article is this team's looking at getting Giannis. No, this team is. This team is. This team is. He's going. He's staying. He's going. He's staying.
Did
I
you
don't
see
care.
that there's an article? Could the Bucks trade for Kyrie Irving and convince Giannis to stay?
Why
I'm
would you
like,
want Kyrie Irving?
why?
Guy is like should just retire.
Yeah, well, that and
I,
he's just a poison in your locker room. I don't want that guy.
I mean, I think there are other guys out there you can get, um, you know, to pair up with Giannis. Um, you know, I just don't see right now any team willing to give up what the Bucks want for Giannis.
Yeah,
And people can sit there and say what they want. I don't just don't see it happening.
yeah,
Um, I just don't see it happening. I think he's going to be a Buck until he retires. So, um,
well, and there are a lot of different teams that are potentially, in the mix as far as potentially trading for him, but
right,
I don't know. I don't see that. I mean, you got some of the teams that are on this list that are either in the finals or in the playoffs this year that I don't know if they have if they have the capital to be able to do this. So I don't know. We'll see. They keep talking about it, but I don't think so. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We will see what happens as
Yeah.
we go on um, in the off season once the finals are done. Moving to the other championship um, series, the NHL. We have the Golden Knights versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Um, in this, and if anybody's out there, anybody's does, and like betting lines, let me
Yeah.
know because like this minus 155. What does that mean? I don't understand what that
Yeah,
means,
that I don't know.
and I don't have time to try to figure it out and learn it. Football it's easy. -6. Oh, it's -6 points. Minus
Right.
155. What the heck is that? I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't either. I don't know.
So when you look at this, I think I think this could be a 7-game series.
Well, I think it
I
will be too.
I think you got two really good teams here. When you look at their series, the conference finals, they've both dominated their games. Now, I think the Golden Knights played the better team
Yeah.
in the Avalanche. I mean, the Hurricanes 6-1 in their series clinching win over the Canadians.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to do that against the Golden Knights. Now, will they have a game here and there that does that? Probably,
Right.
but I don't think that they can do that 4 straight times. Um, you know, to um, to sweep. I don't see it happening. Um,
Right.
you
I
know,
felt like the Golden Knights were more battle tested against the Avalanche than the Hurricanes were.
right.
Yeah. Because
So
I mean, that last game was still close. It's 2-1. I mean, this was not an easy series, I don't think. And the Avalanche were a very solid team coming into this, but
right.
the Golden Knights still won 4-0.
Yeah, and
So
I think that the Avalanche were, I think, one the it was them and the Canes were favored to win the Stanley Cup, and
right.
the Golden Knights, they were up there, but I think they surprised some people in the regular season.
Yeah.
And they played really good hockey in the playoffs. And when you get in a sport, um, it's how are you playing right now? It's not necessarily how good you are. The the best team, the most talented team doesn't always win. It's the
Right.
team that's playing the best at the end of the season that usually
And
wins.
and the Golden Knights are certainly doing that right now. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, this is gonna be if people were disappointed by the NHL playoffs, which I feel like they probably would have because there was not a lot of good series in this NHL playoffs.
No.
I didn't think. But this one, this finals, this should be a really good series between these two teams. So,
Right.
and obviously, coach, regardless of who we think will win, we both want the Golden Knights to win.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Correct. 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 Um, so yes, we'll be we'll be watching that series. Um, I was gonna try to get out to Vegas for a game. I gotta
Yeah.
go, and um, I'll be making a second trip to South Carolina this summer because I
Oh,
have to go and watch my daughter graduate from boot camp in a couple of weeks. So
nice. Yeah.
um, I'll be in Columbia for that, and then 2 weeks later, turning around and we're going to be in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
So, and after the show, we need to talk.
We do. We need to talk about that so we can figure some things out for
Yeah.
South Carolina, including the show because we'll be there for the show during
Oh
that
yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah, and
So
I plan on us doing the show out on a balcony, looking at the ocean, and having a good old time. So,
I think that sounds like a great plan. Yeah.
all right, staying with the NHL, Claude Lemieux passed away um,
Yeah.
this week, um, and the sad thing is it was by a suicide, um, and they're suspecting CTE. Um, so the family is donating um, his brain for scientific research. Um, and now, when this happens, it's a sad thing. You
Yeah.
in you kn- there's a tricky thing with CTE, right? And I coach football, so it's front and center. It's why a lot of um, families are try not to let their child play football or hockey or things like that is because of CTE.
Right.
Now,
And it's a major thing.
it is a major thing. The issue right now is that we know like that it's repeated head trauma, increased concussions or blows to the head like boxers, MMA fighters, things like
Right.
that, um, have a higher risk of it. We understand that. The issue is we can't um ID it until the individual passes away, and then there's a study of the brain, um, the brain tissue. So,
Right.
hopefully, this was big. Ah, man, I don't even remember when it happened. I think it happened right around when we first started the show, Junior Seau.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it was around that time. Yeah.
and that's when it really started to come to the forefront here. Um, and there are some symptoms. You know, to watch for, just the regular cognitive decline faster than normal because we
Yeah.
all are going to see a decline as we age. It's just part of life. Memory loss, depression, being impulsive, aggressive, and then a lot of dementia. So
Right.
if somebody's diagnosed with dementia and they have a history of you know head trauma, that's a very big um um, sign that it's CTE.
Well, and
Um,
this is something that we haven't really talked about, Coach, and you have talked a lot about football helmets on our show at
Correct.
various points.
Yep.
But what about hockey helmets? I don't know what they use, and I don't know if they use the same technology as football does or what they use,
No,
and I don't know if you know.
no. As far as I'm aware, they are just the standard old plastic, like kind of like a bike helmet type of deal.
Yeah,
Um, and I think you would have thought by now, hockey would be looking into that. The issue with
right,
hockey is you you need to have that 360 kind of mobility when
yeah,
you're
yeah. Your
playing.
head on a swivel, right? Yeah,
Um, not saying you don't have to have that in football, but in football, if you can look shoulder to shoulder, you're good. Because if if somebody coming from behind hits you, that's a penalty.
right,
You can get hit from behind in hockey, and it's not a penalty.
right,
Somebody can come up from behind and hit you, and bump you, and they're not going to call it. So I think part of it is range of motion. Um,
sure.
I don't know.
But you would think that maybe they would be able to design a helmet that still would be able to absorb impacts a little bit better than what they had in the past. I don't know. I wish I knew a little bit more about that. But to me, maybe this issue will come to light more now that he passed away, right? Like he's a legend. He had this issue. They know it, right? They see it. Maybe this forces the NHL to do something different with their helmets. I don't know, but one would only hope. You have enough money as a league to be able to invest more into that, if that's possible, to prevent this sort of thing from happening to people in the future. So,
And I'll tell you this right now, I go through this almost bi-weekly now
sure.
with coaches. Um, Virginia Tech is probably the leading university in um, helmet research. Okay,
Mm,
so the Virginia Tech helmet rating. So they're mostly known um for their football helmets.
sure.
Research and why did our share screen go away here? Don't know why that happened. Come on, what the heck?
Yeah. And the sad part about this coach is, he was at game 3 of the conference finals against the Carolina Hurricanes just recently, um, carrying out this torch and people were cheering him on and everything. And then this happened. It was just tragic to see that this was the case. Um, and obviously there's an outpouring of emotion and everything and what ended up happening. But I just something is really wrong with somebody when they do something like that, but yet that was the experience that they had just recently. He was there with 21,000 people cheering him on, and then that happens. There's
Yeah,
a clear issue.
I just want to share this. Hopefully,
Yeah.
share. There we go. All right.
What the helmet
So,
research? There we are. Yeah.
so they did do hockey helmets also. So
Okay.
and I'm assuming that the NHL uses these, right? But these are the things that are top on the market right now. And you know, everybody thinks, oh, the most expensive is always the best. Well, look right here. You have a $300 helmet. This is only ranked sixth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, but all the way on top, you have a $200 helmet that has 5-star ratings. Now,
Yeah.
these all have 5-star ratings. So, up to 8. So any of these, I mean, this is a 34.99 helmet. It
Yeah.
has a 5-star rating, but there's a score. So you look at the score, and the lower the score, the better. So you look at that cumulative score, 0.16 for this one, and
Mm-hmm.
then the second best one is a 0.23. That's a significant jump when you're talking about head trauma and head injuries. So,
Absolutely.
and I don't know what, the NHL probably has an agreement. I'm assuming with multiple vendors. I'm assuming not this Warrior company. I
Sure.
doubt it. That seems maybe more of a newer company. But like CCM, Bauer, those are flagship companies
Yeah.
of um
Yeah. Making helmets and helmet design
of
and what have
of
you. Yeah.
hockey helmets.
Yeah.
Um, like I'll just show you, like, because this is what I'm doing right now, trying it. So like right now, the helmets that we like, I am shocked that the Zenith here is number 3. But again, when you look at the rankings, everybody's like, oh, it's in the top 5. Look at the score. So this light
Right.
Apache helmet is 0.46. The Visus is 0.52. Everything else, you jump to a 0.68, 0.71.
Mm-hmm.
When you Okay, I'm just gonna ask you as a fan, when you hear
Yeah.
football helmet, what comes to mind? What name comes to mind?
Oh, Riddell.
Riddell, right?
Yeah.
Do you see Riddell on here yet?
Nope.
They're shut. Riddell. So
Number 7.
this is their newest one. So
Yeah.
this Axiom helmet, and I'm not gonna go into it, but I'm just gonna say it. I have had some people say that we should buy these. These are custom fit. You go in, you get digitally scanned, and the helmet's purchased for you.
Right.
Can't be worn by anybody else. So I was like, why would we
Okay.
buy these for high school kids?
Super expensive,
They're
perhaps.
$1,000 a pop,
Yeah, your average
and
high school is not affording that.
and
Just throwing that out there, people.
they have an impact score of 0.85,
Yeah.
right? Um, so it so when you look at these, the Vices is the helmet that I endorse. My sales rep knows that that's the only helmet I will buy.
Yeah.
Um, and people will probably say, "Oh, but you talked about that score." The difference between the reason that the Apache scores lower, it's a very light helmet. It's the lightest on the market. It's
Yeah.
still a hard shell, so it's like that hard bike, hitting hard. The Vices helmet is actually a flexible, soft shell that dissipates force throughout the body
Right.
instead of directly into the spine. Um, so the reason it has a little bit worse scores because it's heavier than the Apache. Why are we talking about this? When we talk about CTE, the teams that I have been involved with that every kid uses a Visus,
Yeah.
our concussion and head trauma rate is below 2%.
Yeah. And this is so important, coach, when we're talking about these things. And you look at these guys like Lemieux, I think he was 60. So he played in an era where this was not at the
Correct.
level that it's at right now. Helmet technology was not at that level. And so you have that now. So yeah, I mean, you look at the top helmets. So I just looked up the NFL rates, the top rated helmets for them, the Riddell Axiom, and then the Vice's 02R Matrix ID is the next top rated helmet for the NFL. So I don't know if because I don't look that closely, but I don't know if they're using more of those in the NFL now or
The
not.
Vices, hey, if you so go back to, was it 2 years ago in the
Hmm.
playoffs when Mahomes took that vicious hit
Yeah.
and his helmet broke. I don't even know if you remember that game.
I
don't know
do.
if it's
I remember. Yeah.
and he didn't miss a play.
Right.
Well, guess which helmet he was wearing?
The Vices, right?
The Vices. He wore
Yeah.
a Vices helmet. Any other helmet, he probably would have been out of the game.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a sales rep for Vices.
Right.
I just
They're
know.
loving the exposure right now.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Hey,
Yeah.
Vices, come talk to get a hold of me. I sign me up to be an
You can
ambassador
be a
for you.
sponsor for our show.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'll tell you right now, my whole team at the school that I work at, we will be we're already switching over
Yeah.
devices. So um, you know, and that's the thing. You are seeing more and more of the Vices helmets in the NFL.
Right.
They're easy to maintain, they're easy to fix. Um, and they prevent head injuries. Again, this is all
And
part of the CT stuff.
right.
So here's an example. 2023 state championship game. One of our kids gets tea kettled, crown to the side of the head,
Yeah.
right? Breaks a bracket on his helmet. It was third down. We stopped him. They were punting. He came off. He's also on
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
I had that helmet fixed in less than 5 minutes, and he didn't miss a play without us having to take a timeout.
Right.
If that would have been any other helmet, we would have been grabbing a helmet off of another kid to just
I'm trying to
throw on
modify it
his
and get
head.
it ready.
Yeah,
And yeah.
So again, all that stuff works in conjunction with the safety of the helmets.
Right. And this is
So
imperative. I mean, this is something that it needs to happen, has to change for all of these sports because you're getting high impact hits in hockey. For anybody that doesn't know about hockey or hasn't watched it before, which I doubt any of our listeners are falling into that category, Coach. I think they're at least well informed enough to have seen a hockey game, um, that they know. Yeah, there's high impact hits. This is a necessity for these things, and I don't know that when you were looking at this, these top rated helmets are they should be preventing this now for now, right? So you shouldn't see this sort of thing going forward from NHL players because of what the helmet technology is now.
right, and I mean, hey, Vices. Here's the thing. Um, Start designing a hockey helmet, a
Yeah,
baseball, a batting helmet, um, all that stuff because
yeah,
your technology is great. So Vices, if people don't, again, a lot of people don't understand the stuff because they aren't involved in it. But Vices is actually their background is aerospace.
okay,
Their
yeah,
technology, they are the designers of the most modern fighter pilot helmets that our military uses.
nice. There you go.
I mean, these helmets protect our pilots from head injuries in G forces that would probably tear our skulls apart.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think I'll go with somebody that does
they got
that.
it down. Yeah, yeah,
Just saying,
yeah.
just saying. So, um, anyways, we will see what comes of this stuff when it
Right.
comes to the NHL. I know, in the lower levels, it's required. I believe they're starting. That it's mandatory again during games in the NHL. Um, but it's a sad thing. Now,
Yeah,
before we got on the helmet thing. There is, oops, it's not what I wanted to do. Not what I wanted to do. A we talked about CTE, that it was right now, it is only diagnosed post-mortem, through a brain
Yeah.
exam. There has been some breakthroughs, that they're getting close to possibly be able to detect CTE,
Right.
through different pathology, test results. Obviously, this is going to be years and years down the line. Um, but they are making progress. If they could find a way to diagnose CTE before somebody passes away, um,
Right. Before this sort of thing happens
right.
again. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you're never, I don't think that you can't really correct CTE, because
Yeah.
again, it is multiple repetitive blows to the head and brain trauma, and you can't really heal the brain once it's hurt. It it's hurt.
Yeah.
Um, and who knows? Maybe they can, through research eventually. But you could at least then get the individual's counseling, medications to help control this stuff so it doesn't happen in the future. Um, so we'll see what happens there. Um, it says proper healing. Obviously, um, you know, you look at the individuals that that we know of, and again, this is just the ones that we know of. There's probably people daily that are being impacted by this stuff, um that if you get a concussion or have a brain trauma, you need to let it heal properly
Yeah.
before you put yourself in those types of situations again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just, um if you don't, then you risk getting yourself injured even further. So
Right. This is a serious issue, obviously. And talking about this, I think, highlights all of that. So,
so moving on. We do have about 10, 15 minutes left. Um
Coach, I just got
the
to say, I saw this story and I found it fairly ridiculous.
Oh
Um,
boy.
it's a baseball story.
Oh boy.
So, the Toronto Blue Jays outfielder Jesus Sanchez was injured when a ball was
Oh,
thrown from the bleachers
yes, I saw that.
by a
Um
kid.
my question is, sign the kid. If he
That's what
if
I
he
was thinking.
if he throws that hard, sign him up.
He's got a
Sign,
cannon. What's going
yeah,
on?
sign him up. I mean, come on.
Either
Um,
either Jesus is really wimpy or this kid is really awesome.
right, right. Um, so yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow. It's like,
Yeah,
how do you get hurt? Um,
it's just
you
laughing.
know,
It was ridiculous.
so um anyways, um just kind of going over some sports stories here. College softball World Series. Softball is fun to watch.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh, that's a women's sport. Yeah, so it's so fun to watch. It's exciting. It's fast paced. It's kind of
very
like
fast paced. Yeah,
you so as we're going through here, Texas Tech just eliminated UCLA, but again, here's part of my issue though. And this is not just softball, this is with college sports in general. Look at the records.
yeah,
59-8.
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah,
How are these kids in class?
Coach, well, who cares about that?
You know, I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
because
The people
maybe
going to
they're there to
college, I
get an
mean, it might
education.
matter.
You know, it's like
Yeah,
I just
yeah. They played 67 games, and yeah, yeah, they were going to class every single time.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I have a problem with that.
yeah.
But
I think
you know,
that's just the nature of college sports now, Coach. Right? I mean, that's where we're at. You
yeah,
know,
it's just it is what it
I don't
is.
agree with it either. I don't think it is at all. I mean, this is ridiculous to me. You know,
So
but
but the biggest story right now in college sports, where'd it go? Where'd it
oh,
go?
this is okay. I don't know if I saw this or not.
Well, at least I'm saying it's the biggest story in college sports.
Okay, okay, all
Um,
right.
is the University of UW Milwaukee is in the regional championship. They beat Auburn in the first game of the regional, and then they won their second game to be in the real championship. They are going to take on Auburn again. It says 10 p.m.
That seems
Wow,
really weird.
that's a late game. Um, but Milwaukee, I read a story here. I mean, they're still under 500.
Wow.
And but at one point they had like single digit wins and they finished the season like 22-6, something like that.
Yeah.
To finish the season, they're the first Horizon League team to make it to a regional championship game, and if they win, they'd be the first ever, obviously, to make it to a super regional. Now, can they beat Auburn twice? I mean, Auburn's 40-20. They could.
I think
Um,
they could. Hey, look, coach, they scored 26 runs in 2 games against these two teams.
I get that, but I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Well, yeah, but if they lost on Sunday, though, then they would have a winner take all game on Monday, according to
Oh,
this.
okay. All right.
So
Well,
they're not totally done here. Yeah,
yeah. So if they win, I believe if they win tonight, they just move on.
right. Yes, they would. Yeah, they would win, and they'd be in the super regional for the first time in program history. Probably the first time in Horizon League history. I don't even know, but
Yeah,
let's
I
just be
believe
honest
that
here.
too.
Yeah,
So, I thought that was kind of interesting.
yeah,
Um, you know, so
yeah. I
but
think that's an interesting story because you just don't see that type of situation, in college sports with a small team being able to do that. But those are the fun stories, which is why when we talk about this stuff, coach, we want to see the small colleges be successful at times against these big colleges. They're just the college landscape is not really set up for that sort of thing anymore, like we've talked about many times. So
right. All right. So to finish off the show here, we got about 10 minutes left. And I don't know if we'll go the whole 10 minutes on this or not, but the World Cup is here. And um, you know, we talked about this last week. This thing is all summer long.
yep.
It's longer, it lasts longer than the Olympics did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, the United States beat Senegal 3-2 in their final warm up, or one of their final warm ups. I don't know if it's the
Yeah. I
last,
think I think it
whatever
might
it
have
was.
been the final warm up. Yeah, but either way.
3-2, and
Yeah.
people are all like buzzing and happy. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and be super happy about a 3-2 win over Senegal.
Right.
That's not good, in my opinion. You should be wiping the floor with Senegal. No offense, Senegal, but
Yeah.
we have like 70 times the amount of individuals we can choose our soccer program from.
Right. Yeah. So let's go with one non sort of sports related thing about this, coach. What do you think of the United States uniforms?
I was just about to say that. Who in the world designed those ugly things?
They're
They look
nasty.
they look like freaking candy canes.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's like like who sat there and said, "Hey, let's put these stripes all over our
Yeah.
uniforms."
I mean, it looks like our flag. It's going to be cool.
But I how does it look
No.
like the flag? It's
Yeah.
just red and white stripes.
Yeah. It looks dumb. I wonder if the blue and the stars are in the armpit. I can't tell. It just looks
I
stupid.
I hope that's not our World Cup uniforms.
Oh man, I
Um,
really hope not. Yeah. Let's kick off against Paraguay looking like a bunch of dumb candy canes.
oh my lord. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
These things are ugly as sin.
Yeah, they're
Um,
bad.
well
Well, let's see what we got.
I'm gonna bring up a picture here.
No, there's a blue collar and the armpit is literally blue.
Yeah, so here are
So he's holding it up. The armpit is blue. Oh
so
boy.
here's a picture
Yeah.
of the uniforms for the
Well,
tournament. But now, this isn't even the worst thing. Okay, so I you get the wavy lines. So it looks like a wavy flag. You're wearing a wavy flag. Stupid. Where's the
right.
stars? There's no stars.
There's no stars.
But uh, this is even worse. Oh my god! Come on, all these knock it off.
And my computer's frozen.
I just want to bring up a picture of this thing. This is ridiculous. I don't know if I can. I'll try it. Oh my lord. Well, ready to barf? There's the front and the back of the uniforms. Now, I'll say this: the blue ones aren't that bad.
Yeah. I mean,
At least they have the stars on there.
they do. Yeah, they do. They're not as bad, but
But
still.
but like but like all of a sudden, like on the flag one, on the back, it's like they turn it around and just like, oh, let's just make this big white patch
Yeah.
and put their name and number on it. Not like,
Yeah,
hey,
that's just dumb. Like what?
why don't we put a solid blue patch and do like the number in stars
Right.
to make it look like the actual flag?
God, those uniforms are just ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
just yeah.
uh, yeah. Yeah.
All
That's
right.
bad.
I just this is what we're rocking for the World Cup right here, this
That's what
stuff.
we're rocking for the World Cup, man.
Wow.
Uh,
Hey coach, forget about the NHL Stanley Cup Finals in Vegas. We're gonna go to Los Angeles so that we can
no,
watch.
I'm not going to Los Angeles for anything.
Yeah, no, not much less this.
I'm staying out of that state till they get their crap
Yeah.
figured out. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, this
Uh,
isn't the worst thing there, but still. Man, oh man.
trying to find out. Um, There were a couple of okay. Um, so a couple of stories here.
Man, that's bad.
So South Africa, we don't even know if they're going to make it to the World Cup.
Right.
They got denied entry to the U.S. because they had issues with their passports
Oh boy.
or their visas to stay. So, yeah, that's kind of we don't know whether South Africa saying it is it is
Interesting.
the
That's interesting.
because they went to Mexico, so they're saying it's the U.S. and Mexico, and of course we're all saying that it's them, and
Yeah.
um, so and it looks like it was a Mexican visa debacle. That's what they're calling it. So I
Well,
don't know
and they are
how
playing Mexico in Mexico, I believe, right? Yeah.
right. So I don't know how we get wrapped up into this stuff, but
I don't know. They're playing in Mexico City. I don't really know how that works, but okay.
And then of course, we're waiting to see if Iran will send their team or not.
Right.
Because of what's going on there. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, it's their prerogative. They feel that they got to do what they got to do, and um, we'll kind of see what how
Well,
all that
and
plays
the
out.
interesting thing about that, coach, is they are scheduled to play in the United States. So we talked about how obviously you got Mexico playing in Mexico, you've got, teams playing in other countries. Iran is scheduled to play at SoFi against New Zealand to open this
Right.
thing up. So, yeah, do
And
they come on the 15th? Do they show up or not?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I get it. It doesn't matter whether you're for what's going on over there or not.
Right.
I don't think any of us are going to sit there and go to that game and start like throwing stuff at the Iran soccer players.
No, not at all.
They're not involved in what's going on politically there. Now they might have their own views and things like that on what's going on.
Right.
And who knows? Maybe they support what's going on there. We don't know. We
Or
don't
maybe
know
they
what's
don't.
going
I don't know. Yeah, we
on.
just don't know. Yeah.
And I think, you know, I'll scoreboard watch just to see how the US does.
Right.
But unless you're a soccer fan, I don't think any true soccer fans going to go watch these games are going to be go there and be appalled that Iran is playing on U.S.
No.
soil.
No.
I just don't think there's like going to be a danger to them
No, I don't think
appearing in
so either.
court.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. So, um, so I highly doubt that that'll happen.
Right.
Anything else that we've missed?
No, I think that's it. I mean, the World Cup is coming up here. That's going to be interesting, obviously, when we get there. We got the finals going on. But yeah, we did a recap of baseball before, coach. I don't know. It's the same old with baseball. You know how it goes. So,
Yeah,
middle of the summer, it's going to be going on for a long time.
yeah. I mean, I think well, say this: the A's they're no longer in first place.
It didn't take long.
So, the Brewers are slowly building their lead in the Central. They're up to a 4.5 game lead, and they were in dead last, about a month ago.
Yeah.
I guess one big thing. Yes, there actually is some news here. Major League Baseball, there is increased momentum for a salary cap.
Yeah, I did see that.
Forgot about that. They're proposing a hard cap of $245 million. Now, that, if I can find the story, so you'd have a salary cap of $245 million, a floor of 171. So you'd have your team salary could not be below 171.
Yeah. Well, and you got
how this would affect Major League Baseball. Okay, this is so 245 million, right? The Dodgers 2026 payroll is $410 million.
Yeah.
So they would have to slash their roster salaries by almost 50%.
Yeah, and you've got people that are just completely against this move. Ken Rosenthal said he thought it was a terrible idea. He's been writing about baseball since 1987, and this is just not what needs to happen, and blah 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 blah. And okay,
it does.
It does. For the last time, it does. I don't know why people think this is such a horrible thing.
I remember when the salary cap in the NFL and free agency started to happen in the NFL, and people were so against it because they're like, we have Plan B and blah 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 blah, and and yes, everybody, Plan B is not birth control. Nope. Plan B was a product of the NFL. That's how players were able to move teams back in the day before free agency.
Right.
So for all of you football people out there, free agency is still fairly new in the NFL. It's maybe 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, look at how vast the NFL has grown.
Right.
Because every year your team can go from crap to championship. In baseball, you can't do that. You can't go from losing 120 games to being in the World Series the next year. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in baseball.
No, and he goes on in this article about how he says, well, remember when the Dodgers almost got knocked out of the playoffs in 2024 by the Padres? Almost. It didn't happen. And then he says, oh, the Brewers and the Guardians have had good regular seasons in the past recently, and the system's working. Okay.
No,
did they win the World Series? Did they win in the playoffs? No. I mean, that's just like, well, yeah, some teams got lucky here and there, and no. That doesn't mean they're competitive with the Dodgers or the Yankees or some of these other teams that have huge budgets and huge amounts of money to spend. Don't be an apologist for the big market teams with their big money. Every other sport has a salary cap, and he's been a baseball guy forever. And among other people, I'm not just going to pick on him, but I'm tired of it, Coach. Get a salary cap, wake up, let those small market teams have a chance to win, have some parity in your sport, and let's go from there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Lone Wolf, that you would like to discuss or talk about before?
No, I didn't have anything else. Nope.
All right, Lone Wolf. I look, we're gonna test out something new. I'm gonna stop the recording, but I think we can stay on and we can just talk.
No.
We don't have to get on the phone. But if we get disconnected, we'll get on the phone and we'll talk and go from there. But
yeah, we'll just see if this works.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for listening. Enjoy your week, and we will talk to you next time.